In this video, there is a terrible attempt at an American accent which some viewers may find distressing. Also, cannibalism.
Evil takes a human form in Regina George. Be fooled, because she may seem like your typical selfish, backstabbing, slut-faced hoe bag, but in reality, she is so much more than that.
Hello and good evening. My name is Galatea, and welcome back to the channel. This is Acis, my co-host and best friend. Some fun facts about Acis. He doesn't talk much, he dislikes large rocks, and also he is dead. Happy autumn, merry October, and ghostly greetings, witchy welcomes, terrible tidings, and autumnal applause. Pumpkin pleasantries, miserable meetings, and satanic salutations. October honours and Halloween hellos. Cursed comings and rotting receptions. Welcome to the spooky season, and boy oh boy do we have a rip-roaring adventure in store for you today, boys and girls. So, Acis and I have been thinking about something for a while. Why do most mean girls work in threes? I can't help but be reminded of all the times I've seen witches working in threes, and so it got us thinking and drawing a lot of comparisons between the two. Now, not all mean girls work in threes, of course, but enough of them do to make it a question worth asking. Is it just for convenience's sake? Maybe, but I don't think so. Is it entirely possible that I'm reading way too much into this? Yes, absolutely. But it's Halloween, and I love this topic, so we're doing it. I'm going to tell you why mean girls are in fact witches. To open my argument, we must first establish that witches and mean girls work in trios for much of the time. Don't worry, I came prepared. I have a list. From the three dumped girlfriends in John Tucker Must Die, Harriet and her two followers, Tweedledum and Tweedledummer in Wild Child, Monica Morell, Gina and Jennifer in the Morganville Vampire books, Enyo Dainio and Pamphilin Dim-O in the House of Night series, the vicious Weird Sisters in The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, the three mean girls in Never Been Kissed, the trio in The Craft, the three Kardashian sisters... No, we're only doing fictional characters, my bad. Courtney and her bitch crew from Jawbreaker, the three Heathers from the movie Heathers, and of course, most iconic of all, from the movie appropriately titled Mean Girls, we have the Queen of the Bitches, Regina George herself, and her sisters in sin, Gretchen and Karen. And probably many more not on this list. Okay, well, I know what you're thinking. That's just our Mean Girls covered. What about magic users? Don't worry. Acis and I have got it sorted. Acis suggests we begin with a quote from Shakespeare. Unfortunately, Acis cannot deliver the quote himself, as Acis no longer has a tongue. Therefore, I will deliver the quote on his behalf. Thunder and lightning. Enter. Three witches. So state the very first words of Macbeth. Throughout the rest of the play, the blame for all the tragedies that occur can be placed at the feet of these three weird sisters, as they are called, who through magic, half-truths, trickery, and temptation lead the Macbeths into madness, murder, and ruin. We are beginning with Macbeth because these three witches are probably one of the most famous witch trios and a huge inspiration for later trios of witches all across popular culture, right up to the mean girls of today. However, the Weird Sisters are by no means the first witches to work in a three. Myths and fairy tales are rife with them. Of course, most things in fairy tales seem to happen in threes. However, the number does seem to have a particular link with witches and other kinds of magical women. As you can see, Acis and I are joined by a returning special guest, presenting the hidden puppeteer, the spinner of the subconscious, the hand behind the curtain, and the lady behind the lights.
Well, what a dramatic introduction. Call me the director.
There are several examples where high school mean/popular girls and real witches collide, where they embrace the true origins of the mean girl and really do become witches. Examples of this are The Craft, The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, The Graces, and to some extent the House of Night series, which only demonstrates that the mean girl trio is, in fact, the natural offspring of the witch. We will be focusing for most of this video on the movie Mean Girls, as it is this example where the mean girls are the most like witches. It's also worth saying that there are witch or girl trios who aren't necessarily mean or the villains, but we won't really be focusing on them much in this video. This video shall appropriately be split into 3 parts. Part 1, uploaded today, All Hallows Eve and a full moon, so extra magical. Part 2 will be uploaded on Bonfire Night, the 5th of November. And Part 3 will be uploaded on the 13th of November, which, quite fortuitously, happens to be Friday the 13th, thus a perfect day to conclude a video trilogy about witches. Before we begin our Halloween festivities, remember to be on your guard with me. To play fair, I shall give you 2 warnings. The first, remember that all the world's a stage and the men and women merely players. They have their exits and their entrances, and one man in his time plays many parts. Okay, well, I mean, that's all very interesting, but I don't see how you're playing fair if you're going to be giving all your warnings in riddles. No, you don't see much, do you? Which brings me to your second warning. Remember that I always give you exactly what you wish for. Those who reach for knowledge shall find it. But what does that mean? Would you like to find out? First card. Sorry, are you going to tell me who your friends are? I don't believe we've met. Well, of course. Introducing the Spider and Miss Lost, Miss Paradise Lost, some associates of mine. Hey! Hi, lovely to meet you. Why are you dressed like that? It's my Halloween costume, I'm a witch. Oh, cute. I call them witchy and bitchy. I'm bitchy, but you can call me Paradise. Right. Well, anyway, welcome. Any friend of the director's is a friend of ours, isn't that right? I warn you, they're not very nice. Totally. Don't trust us. Acis and I are very trusting.
Thou can trust me.
Don't. She's a total man-eater. Thank you for that piece of information. You know what? It's okay. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how many guys she's been with, as long as she respects them and herself. Wow. There's no judgment here. Not from me, and I'm sure not from my audience either. This is a safe space. No slut-shaming here. That's adorable. I love her. She's so pathetic. No, sweetie. When I say man-eater, I mean like, literally. I'm sorry?
What?
I did tell you.
What?
Right, okay, let's pause a second. I'm sorry, is that a problem? Madam Director, sorry. We didn't actually really agree to this. I mean, the deal, we did say you could come on, but we don't actually know these people. Can we just... Quiet, I'm about to pull the first card. No, sorry. Sorry. We're still on pause. Currently still on pause. I think we should postpone this. And why would we want to do that, Galatea? Well, you know, several reasons. Primary one being I don't really feel comfortable having a murderer on my YouTube channel. And as I'm sure you'll understand, Acis is also very sensitive to that sort of thing. So it is a problem.
I can call spirits from the vasty deep.
Breathe in love. Breathe out fear. Breathe in love. Breathe out fear.
Trust me.
Yeah, so my stress levels are currently rising, trying to keep them down, but I do have to wonder, Madam Director, if you are in fact trying to kill me. No, silly girl. I'm granting all your wishes, just as I promised I would. Okay, I'm trying really hard not to be rude here, but you are literally the worst fairy godmother ever. Like, Jesus Christ, why can't you just magic me up a millionaire or something like you're bloody well supposed to? Because that was not what you wished for. Did you or did you not ask me for knowledge? Well, yeah, but I'm feeling very unsafe, which I don't think is necessary. What makes you think you have a right to feel safe? You want to feel safe at Halloween?
Thou wishes for safety now, when surrounded by witches.
3 of Cups.
Oh, honey.
Brilliant. Three women, 3 sisters, the 3 of Cups.
3 cups, 3 wounds, 3 women.
Let's begin with answering why and how a trio of women came to be associated with magic. Like the weird sisters in Macbeth, these 3 magical women in stories are almost always sisters, either literally or metaphorically or spiritually bound together by the sisterhood of magic, by being part of the same coven. Their sisterhood, either through blood or in another sense, is there to show a closeness and a kinship between them that can be connected to the triple goddess archetype. Now, the triple goddess is 1 woman in 3 parts, or 3 women in 1. So the sisterhood is there to symbolise that they are really, in truth, the same being. Of course, this literal triple goddess interpretation isn't true in later incarnations, but a lingering sense of their sisterhood and sameness still remains, even if their creator doesn't necessarily know why. Witches and sisters are heavily connected in a way that wizards and brothers never have been. The closest male equivalent would probably be a brotherhood of knights, brothers in arms. The whole concept of the TV show Charmed is about the power of 3, referring to 3 witch sisters who, through their bond, are the most powerful witch trio. Now, these 3 aren't of course evil witches as far as I'm aware, but they are still witches. The weird sisters in The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, clearly inspired by Macbeth, are both mean girls and actual witches. They may not be sisters by blood, but for them, that does not make them any less sisters. Right, jumping in so I can actually get a word in. We also see the trend where there is 1 clear leader and 2 followers, like Regina George and many other mean girl trios. I find it interesting, perhaps a coincidence, but interesting, that Bellatrix, the witchiest witch of them all in Harry Potter, is one of 3 sisters. Which you probably wouldn't know if you've only seen the movies, but if we go back through mythology, we see many examples of the triple goddess archetype incarnate in 3 magical sisters. In Slavic folklore, for example, the cannibal witch Baba Yaga is probably best known as only 1 woman, but in some accounts she is actually a trio of witch sisters, all called Baba Yaga. From Greek mythology, we have several examples.
There are the Graces, 3 goddesses of charm, grace, and beauty.
And Electo, and Megara, and Tisiphone.
Ariadne refers here to the 3 main Furies, goddesses of vengeance.
Remember the Gorgons, Medusa, and her 2 sisters?
Trust me.
Time was, she could turn a man's blood to fire with her beauty. Now, she turns them to stone.
Tragic.
Do not forget the fates, sister. Tell them about the fates.
I have not forgotten the fates, the 3 who spin the threads of destiny, and nor have I forgotten the 3 Norns of Norse mythology who spin the threads of fate at the foot of the world tree. In fact, weaving is often associated with witchcraft.
Weaving is a woman's art.
Ariadne is a fan of weaving.
I'm the best of the best. There's wise Hecate, triple goddess of witchcraft.
Witches.
And the Morrigan, bloodthirsty, brutal, and as gentle as the mother.
Ah, yes, the Morrigan, the Celtic triple goddess of war, death, and prophecy.
Can I speak now? You're literally hogging my YouTube channel, but I know things too.
And have you stopped sulking?
I wasn't sulking.
Sure, sweetie.
Right, well, I wasn't sulking, so... Fuck off, I wasn't sulking. Yeah, fabulous. I wasn't actually talking to you, Paradise. Madam Director, look, can I just bloody tell the audience something, please? Look, I went and scripted this whole video. Spent weeks. Had no sleep in about 2 weeks. Filming this, oh my god, I cannot tell you the amount of work I've done. And then you lot, you three, bloody get all the good parts. And what do I get to say? It's not fair. People will just be like, oh, in the comments, oh, I think the director's really cool. Oh, I think the director's really, really cool. Oh, I do. I know what you lot are like. Yeah, bloody, and they'll just ignore me. No one one's gonna say I'm cool. No one's gonna say, oh, Galatea's cool. Even though I did all the bloody work.
You did not do all the work. Who was it that taught you all you know about witches?
Well, you. But...
And who, pray tell, was there in your mind talking you through every step of the scripting process?
You.
Precisely. Now, what is it you would like to share with the audience?
Yeah, can I read this? I wrote it all down.
So you haven't bothered to learn your script?
Fucking... No, I didn't learn my sodding script, did I? I've just told you how much I had to do. Literally, I'm so stressed out, and there's just so much, and you're just really not helping me. I'm a terrible YouTuber. I didn't learn thousands of words off by heart on top of everything else I had to do. All by myself. I'm so tired. I'm sick of this. Can I just...
Jesus Christ, child, get on with it.
This leads us to a discussion of the famous Mother Maiden Crone triple goddess, which even today still seems very popular amongst followers of Wicca and is associated with the 3 stages of life. I believe it's fairly common to associate Persephone with the maiden, Demeter with the mother, and Hecate with the crone. They represent beginnings, the fruition of something, and endings respectively, or innocence, fertility, and wisdom, birth, blooming, and death. There's 100 different ways of looking at it.
The bay trees in our country are all withered.
Associated very deeply with femininity, these 3 aspects to the goddess are connected to the moon, believed to represent the waxing, waning, and full moon.
And meteors fright the fixed stars in heaven.
The maiden representing the waxing or growing phase of the moon, the mother representing the full moon with its obvious connections to fertility and pregnancy, and the crone representing the fading or waning of the moon.
The pale-faced moon looks bloody on the earth.
And still in modern interpretations, witches are often shown doing magic under the moon, again an ancient symbol of femininity, even if the modern interpretation has forgotten where this connection originally came from.
And lean-looked prophets whisper fearful change.
We'll be coming back to the moon and its importance for witchcraft later, but we can mostly forget about the Mother Maiden Crone triple goddess, as that's not hugely relevant to the content that will be discussed in this video, though it was worth mentioning as it's relevant to the history of the triple goddess and her association with witchcraft. Boom, bitches!
Speaking of the moon, it's not uncommon to see witches worshipping her. We have this in the mists of Avalon, where the sect of high priestesses all have crescent moons on their forehead, and later on in the chilling adventures of Sabrina, it's the moon and the triple goddess that the witches turn to as a source of their power. Then we have the House of Night series, which technically is about vampires, but in truth they're some sort of witch-vampire hybrid creature. In this series, the power of the vampire witches comes from their worship of the goddess and the night and the moon, which, as should have been established, goes back to the triple goddess archetype. The moon has 3 phases: waxing, waning, full, growing, complete, and dying. Maiden, mother, crone. This brings us to my favourite sorceress, Morgana Le Fay, the fairy witch of Arthurian legend. She's another who served as a huge inspiration to all the witches who came after her. She is just one woman, it is true, but as Geoffrey of Monmouth explains in the Vita Mellini, she was the head of 9 sisters, 9 sisters who guarded the sacred Isle of Avalon, which is where they took King Arthur's wounded body to rest until the Golden Age returns again. 9 is not 3, but it is 3 groups of 3, and it is into 3s that these women appear to be grouped. They are Morgana, Morano, and Mazo, Glitton, Glittonia, and Gilton, and finally Tyrano, Thitton, and Thyton.
Yeah, in the earliest stories, Morgana was not evil, if you go right back to the earliest legends, and she actually aided King Arthur and his knights. But of course, such a powerful sorceress could not be allowed to stand as a positive symbol of feminine strength, and so she was distorted, perverted, and made evil. Because, of course, no empowered woman can truly be good, surely. Are you bored right now? I'm bored right now.
Though it is sometimes seen as a feminist reaction against the masculine trinity of Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, the triple goddess is an ancient symbol that predates certainly Christianity and can be found in different forms in different cultures.
So yeah, in the Mists of Avalon, we have this theme where we see the female high priestesses of the ancient goddess butt heads with the male priests of the patriarchal Christian god. So we see these two things, cause friction.
I am so bored right now.
Of course, in these portrayals, the high priestesses and their magic is not evil, with the exception of one of them, really, in the movie. But they fit in a lot of ways into the triple goddess archetype. Because triple goddess is not, even though we're going to get into evil witches and mean girls, and their industry is not evil. So first of all, in the movie Mists of Avalon we're talking about, first of all, the Lady of the Lake, in this telling of the Arthurian legend, is a title, not really an actual person, but is a title given to a priestess, a high priestess of the goddess. The title becomes the Lady of the Lake. And the current Lady of the Lake is the eldest of 3 sisters who are all gifted in magic. So Morgane, which is the movie's version of Morgana Le Fay, so it's basically Morgana, but she's called Morgane, is the daughter of one of these 3 sisters, Igraine, and she's raised more or less by all 3 of these women, sort of at different points all together. When Morgane reaches adulthood, she really takes her mother's place as one of the 3 central witches with her 2 aunts. So again, 3 women. You have her raised by 3 women, 3 witches, and then her mother sort of steps back. Later on in the movie, steps aside, and she takes her place with her 2 aunts as to form this trio of women, really. So takes her mother's place as one of the 3 central witches with her 2 aunts. And interestingly, all the deeds done by the legendary sorceress Morgana Le Fay are, in this movie, split between 3 women. Because again, like I said, a lot of Morgana Le Fay's deeds are confused, because some in the legends, because she started off good, but then some of the stuff she does, because she was made bad and it's really confused, she does good stuff and bad stuff, but in this movie, her deeds are split between the 3 women, Morgane and her aunts, Morgause and Vivienne. So of these 3 women, one is good, in my opinion, one is good, one is morally ambiguous, and one is evil. And all the legendary things done in myths and legends by Morgana Le Fay are split between 3 women, which I thought was just interesting.
Yeah, get on with it.
It's worth noting that though I found this a useful and really interesting example to give, I'm not hugely aware, but I'm faintly aware. I'm aware, and I don't know massively about it, but I'm aware that there's a lot of horribleness and controversy with the author of The Mists of Avalon, the book, though I am talking about the movie in this example. I've never read the book, but yeah, just worth bearing in mind.
The triple goddess, particularly in her form as the Fates, is not evil, but over time, 3 witches came often to be portrayed as pretty damn mean. This is probably because the triple goddess, just like Fate herself, is neither exactly malevolent nor benevolent. Fate just is, sometimes helpful and sometimes unhelpful. Like Baba Yaga, for example, who is both the villain and the saviour, depending on the story. This is probably partly why witches eventually got such a bad reputation. Well, that and sexism if you want to go down that particular argumentative route. However, there are also many neutral and some good witch trios that can be found. However, because it's Halloween and as the title of the video suggests, we will be focusing mainly on the nasty ones. and how, in modern pop culture, witches have morphed into mean girls.
Oh my god, this isn't a history lesson, we get it. The triple goddess archetype is old as shit.
Thanks for that. Some believe that one of the most ancient incarnations of the triple goddess can be found in the symbol of the Celtic triple spiral, dating from the Neolithic era. It's also sometimes called the spiral of life, and though no one is certain of what it means, there have been many suggestions.
I know what it means. I have looked into the womb of the dark universe, of Kali, the creator, Kali, the destroyer, and seen her sacred mysteries for myself.
Oh my god, please, you're so dramatic.
Well, look who's talking.
Okay, rude.
The spiral of life symbolizes the female power of life-giving in this universe. 'Tis a sacred symbol of cycles and fertility. 3 spirals in one. 9 months to carry a child before it is born. 3 groups of 3.
Right, okay, well, you can say that you know that that's true, but currently that's actually just a theory of what the spiral of life could mean, because no one seems to know, so I can't actually confirm that for my audience.
9 moon cycles to grow a life.
Whisper fearful change.
9 moon cycles for my babies to hatch. I can hear them, my dear, dear babies. Such hungry, strong children.
Oh my god. I'm never having kids.
Even when not growing a life, we women follow the cycles of the moon, which herself has 3 phases, waxing, waning, and full in the sky. Maiden, mother, and crone. The spiral of life shows a cycle, and the cycle belongs to women. The earth circles around the sun, and the moon around the earth, and so too does woman have her own inner cycle.
Trust me.
We all live by the eternal cycle, the cycle of mankind, of which women are the keepers. 3 is a woman's number. Mark me, mortal. That is what the spiral of life means.
She's a feminist.
Okay, no thank you, let's not get into any of that, please.
I know you are a shameless whore, sister, but I did not think you were a submissive, shameless whore.
Okay, sister. Firstly, I'm only a whore to get them to do what I want, and it works, by the way. And secondly, shut up, you hypocrite. You've been sucking dick since long before I was even born, but you think just because you digest your boyfriends afterwards, it somehow doesn't count?
Wow, okay. Hey guys, I just want to flag to the group that I'm feeling very uncomfortable right now.
Thou shalt not suffer a man to live.
Did you come up with that empowering feminist statement all on your own, sweetie? That's adorable.
Please stop mentioning politically sensitive issues.
You mock your own power as a woman, and you do it to appease men, and that is my quarrel with you. I have no argument with shameless whores.
Well, that's good, seeing as you are one. She's a single mom.
Oh wow, okay. Now you're insulting single mothers on my YouTube channel. I can see no way in which this will end badly for me.
You know, she has like thousands of kids by different guys. Literally. So many, and they're all like really ugly.
They don't call her the mother of monsters for nothing.
At my nativity, the front of heaven was full of fiery shapes, of burning crescents, and at my birth, the frame and huge foundation of the earth shaped like a coward.
Another example of female liberation found in the trope of 3 witches can be found in The Ladies of Grace Adieu. I don't know how to pronounce that. A short story by Susanna Clarke. This tale is set in the same world as Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. And that was a novel, and that was a novel very much focused on the male characters and male magicians. So The Ladies of Grace Adieu is a wider collection of short stories, and the one I'm focusing on is the title story, actually called The Ladies of Grace Adieu. I don't know how to say it. But many of the tales in that whole collection, not all of them, but a lot of them, focus on women or draw quite a contrast with women and the magic of men. So in this particular story, the specific one, The Ladies of Grace Adieu, in this story, the witches are portrayed in a positive light.
In the story, the great magician Jonathan Strange wakes from sleeping beneath an apple tree to see 3 witches dancing in the starlight. To quote from this tale, "Looking up, he saw 3 ladies in pale gowns walking, almost dancing, upon the bank above him. The stars surrounded them. The night wind took their gowns and blew them about. They held out their arms to the wind. They seemed, indeed, to be dancing." This sort of magic, it is made clear, is vastly different from the sensible male magic of the establishment that Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell practice. These women dance wildly in the starlight and transform themselves into wild owls to watch over children, and do all sorts of other things that the male magicians would be shocked to discover. As one of the 3 witches says to Jonathan Strange when confronted, "Poor man, can you go back to London and tell this odd tale? For I think you will find it is full of all kinds of nonsense, the magic of wild creatures and the magic of women. You are no match for us, for we 3 are quite united, while you, sir, for all your cleverness, are at war, even with yourself." In the world of Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell, women are not allowed to do magic, certainly not as a profession, and so they are pushed to the shadows. This contrast is made clear. On the one hand, we have the sensible, bookish magic of men that has pushed women out of the establishment, and on the other hand, we have the mysterious and unknowable magic of women, a magic they find wild and liberating and powerful. The story ends by telling us that 3 women went, and I quote, "walking on the high hills in a fine autumn wind, as free as any women in the kingdom."
Oh my god, girl power. I love it.
So now you're all for female solidarity all of a sudden?
Yeah. Well, not all females. Like, if you're cool, I'll help you mess with people, but like, I'm not gonna hold hands and sing fucking Kumbaya with ugly people, if that's what you're asking. Right, brilliant. I think we're gonna end the video there for today. Cheers, if that's alright with you. I've had enough. Yeah. Come back for part 2 on the 5th of November. Bonfire night, but the video is over now. It's over. No more. Shut up. Yeah, stay safe, kids. Stay in school. Don't talk to witches. And as for human sacrifice, just say no.
Oh, bye. Love ya.
Ah, as expected. Death.
Ghosts wandering here and there, troop home to churchyards, damned spirits all, that in crossways and floods have burial, already to their wormy beds are gone.
The spirits of the dead walk the earth tonight. Light your jack-o'-lanterns, children, to guard your homes, and ignore the whispers from the dark. Sleep well, and happy Halloween.